Hey everyone, it's EverythingeeB here, and in today's video I want to talk about the latest leaked build of Windows 11. Now Windows 11 has been in the media for a little while, so let's briefly talk about the history of it. With the introduction of Windows 10, Microsoft decided that they were going to stop releasing new updates of Windows. They had been previously releasing new updates of Windows on a number cycle, but they decided to scrap that in favor of making Windows 10 Windows on in a service. So basically every 6 months or so an update would get pushed out to Windows 10 that would change something about it, and it would eliminate the need to have to make new releases. But all of that changed when Panos Panay came back to Microsoft in 2018 and took head of the Windows division. He wanted to make Windows and numbers again, so he decided to start working on Windows 11. Now, we didn't know about this until Microsoft started teasing it about last month. So first, Microsoft invited people to a virtual event on June 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where they were going to talk about Windows 10. Next thing they did was uploaded a video on their channel, which had all the Windows sounds slowed down 4,000%, and it was exactly 11 minutes long. Then they decided, they also updated Windows 10's end of life date to October 14th, 2025, meaning that after that date, no new updates would come to Windows 10. And so many people were speculating that the next version of Windows would be called Windows 11, considering most of the changes were already in Windows 10 Sun Valley update, and now they were going to bring it over to Windows 11. We did actually see another leak of another operating system earlier this year called Windows 10X, but development was halted a month after it was leaked, and then eventually the whole project just got scrapped. So a lot of Windows 10X's features have been ported to Windows 11, so let's try it. So you can see that we're just booting into Windows here, and the first thing you'll notice is this new flat Windows logo. It looks like the Microsoft logo, except it's all blue this time instead. So this is the new Windows 11 logo, and you can see that we're logging into our OS right now. Just give it a second. And as you probably could not have heard, that was the new Windows 11 boot sound. So Windows 11 sounds are pretty discreet now, but it could also be because the sound is so low here. As you can see, it has some new sounds, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. I mean, it definitely makes it so that it's distinguished from another update to Windows 10, and it's actually just a proper update to Windows. So first thing we're going to talk about is the lock screen here. If I can shift over to the lock screen quickly. There we go. So this is the lock screen. It hasn't changed much yet, but we'll have to see when more builds come out later. So it's just basically the same lock screen. Next thing we're going to talk about is the taskbar. So the taskbar has obviously been changed. As you can see, the biggest change here is that icons are now centered on the taskbar rather than being positioned to the left. And this was quite a heavily requested feature with Windows. Is that they shifted the icons to the middle because people, I guess, liked it in the middle. I think they should get rid of this extra bars and make it like Mac OS so that the taskbar automatically expands. But yeah, this is basically it. You can see that there's a couple bugs here where it actually shows the day over there, because, well, it's a beta build, it's obviously going to be bugged. And you can see here, so the taskbar has really changed. Now let's move on to the start menu. So the start menu has this new animation when it pulls out, and you can see that immediately it's obviously taken a very big change from before. So you can see that instead of having tiles like in Windows 8.1 and 10, they're just pinned icons. So you can scroll between your pinned icons, and basically these are all the icons that are pinned to your start menu. They've still got tons of ads, but at least they're kind of less obtrusive, maybe a bit. I don't know. And you can see that over down here we have a section called recommended, where it shows everything that's recommended. So it shows apps, files, even files loaded in the cloud. For example, if you add your Microsoft account, it'll show files loaded in the cloud. So that's pretty cool. And then down here we have our username and then the power button. This start menu is subject to change later, but for now this is kind of what it is right now. So you can see here we have a button to click all apps, and then here we can scroll through every single app, and it's got the same, it's the start menu has been changed to be identical to the one found in Windows 10 Sun Valley, so nothing super special to see there. Next we can move on to the search. The search is pretty much just unchanged, so it basically just looks like this, and it doesn't look any different from what we already have in Windows 10. So then the next thing I want to talk about is the widgets. Now the widgets for some reason for me aren't loading. Okay, it loads now, but it says you need a Microsoft account to use Windows Dashboard. So you can add a Microsoft account, and then it'll basically show you all of your widgets. So, but I don't have them. I don't want to sign in with my Microsoft account right now. So it looks like we're just going to be stuck on that screen. So next we're going to talk about the new task manager. The new, not task manager, the new task view, not task manager, yeah. So you can see that task view is actually quite different now. It's not too much different, but basically the timeline goes at the bottom here, and it's more desktop oriented clicks rather than these huge tiles. Then there's also, the windows. So, and then there's of course new desktop with all the new features from Windows 10 Sun Valley. So for example, you can put certain desktops on certain monitors, and you can change wallpapers per desktop. So yeah, that's pretty cool of that as well. And you can see we also have a new multitasking feature. If we hover over this button, we have an option to start multitasking. So let's just open a couple of windows here. Control and WordPad. So you can see we've opened at least a few windows over here, and so if we hover over this, it opens the multitasker. So now we can put windows in different paints. So we're going to put this in the middle, then we're going to put that over there. As you can see, it's still pretty buggy, but that is always subject to change. There's also all these new icons system wide, but I find there's still a lot of icons that still haven't changed, such as that one or that one, but still a good effort. And this is not a final release of the OS, so this is all subject to change. Like I mentioned, this is just the earliest preview. So the DWM has also changed as well a lot. So you can see that now we have more rounded corners over here, and we have newer animations. So if we open a window, for example, you can see that it kind of floats in a bit easier. You can see that there's smaller animations in the taskbar now. If we open a window, minimize a window, you can see there's small animation there. It's very subtle, but these are the kind of changes I like to see. So yeah, and you can see that the Windows button actually presses in rather than just lighting up like it does on Windows 10. It's always blue on Windows 11. So now we're also going to talk quickly about the wallpapers, just because I want to. And so you can see that we have quite a few new wallpapers here, and these are some actually nice wallpapers, unlike the Windows 10 one in my opinion. The Windows 10 wallpapers aren't really that great, but Windows 11 is pretty good. So you can see we have Windows Light. There's still a light and dark mode like there is on Windows 10. That's obviously not subject to change. You can see we have this flower here as the main wallpaper instead of a glass pane like there was on Windows 10. So you can see this is the dark theme, and this is one called Glow. So these are just some glowing wallpapers. So let's just go to the next desktop background. So you can see they all look pretty similar, and they actually have a nice animation to it when it changes, which is actually pretty darn cool. Like, I have to admit, this is actually just skip the animation there, probably because this is in a virtual machine. Next up we have captured motion. So this is just motion, I guess. This doesn't have that same animation. It doesn't have that optical illusion that makes it look like it's an animation. It's just these backgrounds. And then we can also take a look at sunrise, which is personally my favorite. It's basically pictures of showing the sunrise, but I like this a lot. Like, it's kind of my wallpaper, if you know. All wallpapers and applications and stuff are compatible between Windows 10 Windows 11, at least for now. And so, seems like settings crashed. So obviously this operating system is very unstable, as it is, new. And then finally there's Flow, which is basically just an extension of this wallpaper, so I think I'll leave it at sunrise because I kind of like that. So now, yeah, so let's talk about a bit about the issues. So the first issue is obviously the very high system requirements. Now, Windows 11 is not going to run on anything, on any hardware before 2016. Like, that's just guaranteed. It's not going to run. The reason why is because it needs a Trusted Platform Module 2.0, which came out in early 2016. As well as that, also needs 4 gigs of RAM and secure boot support, meaning that it can't even run on legacy UEFI systems. I have yet to try, we're still waiting on when the actual release comes along so that we can actually see what happens and if it's supported or not, but this is kind of how it is for now. And on top of that, there is also, it's also very buggy as of now, and it still mashes up a lot of elements. A lot of icons haven't changed yet, but that's because it's a beta build, right? Eventually it will fix itself. Microsoft will fix it, and eventually they'll be able to iron out all the issues. And I hope for the future that Windows 11 gets rid of that 16-bit kernel that's been lingering there ever since Windows 3, and finally moves on to a proper 64-bit kernel, because that really seems like the smart option. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed my little tour of Windows 11. If you did, please consider, please consider sharing this at least, so that I can find people who don't like this content. And with that, I'll see you all next time.